So I'm gonna start my first. Well, it's not the first game in Elden Ring, but the first one on this account. So new game. Took auto lock. Auto turn. It's probably all fine. Performance settings. Oh, who cares? So if it's barely visible, how about I just leave it as it is? Okay, so my choices are these classes. I'm planning on going for a spear-based build. So I need something with good spear ability. Spears generally scale off both strength and dexterity, and samurai would be a possibility if I'm not going to be building any strength, any intelligence or faith. Otherwise, these ones start with a spear, but I'm planning to kill Patches and get his anyway. Question is, who would be best at killing the jar? Considering I'm going to need that, because I'm going to try to be maxing out the amount of damage I can do from the weapon skill. What's it called? Impaling thrust, which I'm sure no one is ever going to make a joke about. Yeah, I reckon the easiest to kill the jar is probably either going to be a sorcerer or the prisoner. Both of them have more intelligence than I particularly like, though. I've got really the stat. Yeah, I'm going to go for samurai and just sort of hope that I can take down the thing. I'm going to name myself Fenrix, as that is my pseudonym on most things, and I've named every character I play through Elden Ring with Fenrix, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. If that is unoriginal, I don't care. And I'm going to get... should I get that one? No, I shouldn't. 5 pieces of boiled prawn boost physical damage negation, or do I increase my max HP? Or do I want runes? I want runes. Runes are useful. I'm going to not bother to change up my character's looks, because, let's be honest, we're never going to see them. Here we go. Hell's bells.
The fallen leaves tell a story.
Annoying introduction.
The great Elden Ring was shattered.
Okay, I'm gonna skip that and give the very brief run through for which is basically the same as in all Souls games. The world was being controlled by something crap, was usurped by something differently crap, and is now all broken, and vestiges of the former crap world and people who want to make the world crap in new and interesting ways are all vying for attention all over the map. And I need to kill everybody. And that is Souls. That is a From Software game. Also, From Software games begin, as per usual, apart from Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, with a boss that you can't really kill. Actually, Bloodborne also doesn't start with a boss, but it does start with a werewolf who, I mean, I just ran past him because I didn't have any weapons, but most people apparently died to him, tried to fight. Why would you try to fight him with no weapons? Yep, see, this guy has... yeah, he's good. Good. I'm going to skip this. This is essentially a lady on a horse remarks that my dead body looks promising, which is not creepy at all. I'm going to use Rune. I do not need a tutorial on this. I'm going to ignore the tutorial area because I've already done all this and it doesn't give me enough runes to be worth skipping all of the tutorial scenes. So, Lost Grace discovered. Stop giving me text. Is there any way to turn those off? Show tutorials off. There we go. Now I don't have to look at them anymore. There's also, by the way, another boss directly outside of this who I also can't kill at this level. Really. I think after Dark Souls 2 and 3 they just decided, yeah, we're gonna have to go full in on the let's give these guys impossible bosses that they can't fight properly. Hello, random person.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the... Of course you have. Unfortunately for you, without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an... You are fated.
Well, that was harsh, but fair. That over yonder, the big golden fucker on the big golden horse, is the enemy I'm definitely not going to try to kill right now. There's, however, a guy who looks like Father Christmas with a fishing rod in the church over here. I say a church. In the ruins of a church. Most things in Elden Ring are ruins. All dead. A lot of things in Elden Ring are also dead. Strangely enough, the catacombs, which are full of dead things, aren't really that ruined most of the time.
And I can also see that you're not after my then why not? I am Carlin.
Yes, as per usual, the voice acting in Souls games is exceptional. How did I... Okay, so should I buy throwing knives? No, I shouldn't. Oh, I can use to build things. I don't want that. Don't want any of those. Don't want any arrows. Yeah, I don't really need any of this stuff. Although I suppose some throwing knives might actually be quite nice. Then again, I've got a bow and arrow. So I'm good for now. Well, can I be bothered to... Oh yeah, I should probably not just run straight to patches, because if I do that, I'll have to fight that invader. And that invader will kill me. Probably quite easily. I like these overhead slashes things in Sheath. Heavy attack on katanas. They're not particularly interesting, so, you know. I don't have the gap close ability of an impaling thrust, so there's no real need for them. They're like one of the more middle class weapon skills I've found. I tested out a whole bunch of weapon skills on my old account. I was using a lot of weapons. I kept reallocating my stats and trying out different weapons, different abilities. Oh shit, and this is the one with the horn, I think. So if he sees me, he'll blow that giant trumpet and call all his friends over to come and yeet me. Unless I hide. There's a sword up here. Big sword. I do have a katana already. Katana does a good amount of damage. So, this reminds me, I need to okay, that there, stick that there. remove that, because let's be honest, whoever uses those things. Ah yes, cutscene. That is the maiden. She wants to take me to the big tree, which was...
and aid. But you, I can play the turning wood to aid you. You need
Yes,
her to
yes,
the
yes, yes,
foot.
yes.
Then it settled some
Bear,
me.
bear, seek.
Another
Blessed.
matter. I bequeath.
We get it. Shut up. Who cares?
Use it. It will summon a torrent. Treat him with. Shall I
Right.
let my share them with me?
What should I bother with?
Thoughts, your ambitions.
Probably need stealth. I plan to get the pike, and the pike I think requires 20 strength and 16 dex. I think. I've not checked it recently. Could use this. That's better crit, better damage. Yeah, I'll use this one for now. I have to 200 though, because it's slightly above my faith requirement. My strength. Can't speak. Chop. Or should, yep, one more does it. Good thing about this weapon is that it's got 110% critical, which is, you know, nothing special, but it's more than most have. Honestly, I could just equip Impaling Thrust onto this thing. Impaling Thrust does a huge amount of damage, of stance damage. Well, at least I think it does. I'm not entirely sure. It should. But yeah, I would be able to do a huge amount of stance damage with this, and then use critical hit. I'm going to rest because I believe there is a giant evil thing on a horse which will one-shot me over there. DCD. Dickard, please do not swear in the chat. Also, you misspelled the word bitches. It has an E in it. Please, if you swear correctly in the chat. Although, technically speaking, I think you're the only person currently watching, so does that make it a chat, or a monologue, or disjointed ravings? Soup is not a swear. Dickard, why do you do this? And I missed that. Very, very good. I'm not going to kill the big tortoise, because why would I do that? I am going to run under this bridge, which leads me towards Patches. You are not the spawn of Satan. Satan is intelligent. You are, at the very most, the spawn of Satan's delivery man. I apologise for the loud creaking. That is my chair. It is a piece of crap. Interesting fact I learned, there is no Japanese equivalent for swearing. Everything in Japanese is down to intonation and familiarity while one speaks. There is no like taboo words in Japanese. In fact, the Japanese don't seem to have a lot of concept of bad language. Oh good, I'm being invaded. Yeah, language itself cannot be bad, only intonation. Which is a novel concept. I'm going to throw something at you. Oh, good, it hit. Wonder if I can. Nope. Whoa! Only 2 of these things to bleeding? Not bad. 1 and up.
The bloody finger. Numbers 9.
I believe there is an ally somewhere nearby. I may not need him. Nope. Why are some words considered evil in all languages? I don't know. There are certain subjects, I imagine, that children were prohibited from broaching in many cultures, and so words related to those specific subjects, sex, murder, violence, that sort of thing. Think about the specific words. Twat, fuck, bitch, many of these can be related to sex. Bloody and... I had another one in mind, but I've forgotten it. But bloody is an adjective connected to violence in its way. As such, I imagine that words connected to, yes, these taboo subjects, violence, death, sex, hatred. Well, not hatred per se, but taboo subjects, essentially. Words with connotations connected to them would have been taboo themselves. Because a parent would rather not say, please don't talk about this subject. They would say, please do not use these particular words in polite conversation, because they have intonations. There's also the concept of blasphemy. In religious societies, certain words were considered taboo, blasphemous. And as such, these words were... Hang on, I'm just stealing from this guy. Yes, we get it, you don't like them, so yes, so, as I was saying, taboo... There were words which were considered blasphemous, and words connected to things like sin, or words that could... Dickens informs me that this is better than being lectured in real life. You asked the question, you pedant. Also, a slight problem with this is that the chat comes up in front of my health bar, which now means Dickens is going to start spamming the chat. He's asking me to stop killing him. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, mate, I want your spear. It's lovely. See, this guy is basically just a douche in most of these games, and yet will consistently grovel for his life in them, which is annoying. But in this one, he's useful for something because he begins with a +7 spear. It may not have additional critical damage, but it does have a lot of regular damage. Well, a lot for this part of the game anyway. And a very, very powerful skill, which I'm going to demonstrate on this bastard right now. Bastard, by the way, is another thing which used to be an insult. It means okay. This bastard was the meaning of a child born outside of wedlock. Wedlock being, of course, a very religious thing. IRL, you lectures my about books concept at 10 PM, which I never... Okay, that was too long and horribly spelled. And by the way, that book thing, you did ask about it. Oh, there wasn't a lecture. You asked me how my writing was going. I told you how the writing was going. I'm sorry if I used words with more than 2 syllables. And I'm sorry if I used punctuation while texting. I know this goes against your moral beliefs. Actually, I believe that is probably in the theology of your god, i.e. Jesus, the god of cheese. Yes, for those who may watch this later, by which I mean perhaps my sister and the 2 random Russian people who commented on my last video, at least I assume that was Russian, Dukud is a proud acolyte of the Church of Jesus, a church that he invented along with one of his moronic friends. Church is, of course, heavily centred on cheese-based theologies. Makes more sense than a lot of other religions in my mind. I'm not going to talk to this guy with the funny hat. There's a dungeon around here which I could go into, but at the same time, I'd really rather not. I'm going to go into it, open up the just get the Sword of Grace so I can fast travel to it later without having to go for a whole slog back. Oh, Jesus, Mad the Moon. Dickens says, Jesus, Mad the Moon, everybody. These words do not mean anything. But what else can we expect? I'm going to see if I can put the chat somewhere which isn't right in front of him. Well, overlay options. Position. Top right. No, top right, not bottom right. Ah, there we are. Oh! He says Jesus made the moon. Jesus made the moon. Oh yes, because the moon is made of cheese. Cheese, Gromit. For anyone whose parents did not have a video player in their house, so basically anyone under the age of 20, apart from me, because I was born an old person. Yeah. Cheese Gromit is a reference to a claymation series called Wallace and Gromit. It was good, it was funny, very English humour. The guy built a rocket to go to the moon because he wanted to eat moon cheese. Ah, Dicadulsa says, and the cow jumps over the moon, and I imagine that the rest of that statement is, and cows make cheese, or something along those lines. I only got, and cows jump over the M. So, I now have a weapon, which is nice. What else can I go and get? I'm at the artist shack. Right, so, first real boss, or first main boss is here. I'm not going to go fight him yet, even though I've got a decent weapon, because... well, mostly because I just don't want to get bodied by the annoying guy straight away. I am, however, going to go and get another part of my build, which is north. See, funny thing is, I do enjoy playing Elden Ring in the, bare bones way of not summoning anything, but there's a few summons which I just find really, really fun, and I think I'm going to get them this time. I only really used summons on my first ever playthrough, and I've played through a couple of times. Well, actually, no, I don't think I've ever completely finished the game since my first playthrough. But, who is yelping? Someone is making yelping sounds. Oh, Jacob. Oh, shit. Dukkad. I began a new podcast a couple of weeks ago and have now caught up with it because it's brilliant, and you would love it. It's about a time-travelling, dimension-spanning well, I'm not sure. I picture it as a 1950s style American diner. This is called Midnight Burger. It is weird. It involves phrases such as Casper, I am going to start playing yodeling. Also involving things such as, dear, are our friends attempting to inebriate a tree? Or the ever classic, this Molotov cocktail is brought to you by communism. It's a weird show. It's a really, really weird show. But it's hilarious and very well written, and involves lots of trisyllabic words you're not going to understand. But that's fine, you're probably used to that. You hang out with me, and I love using trisyllabic words you don't understand. It brings me joy. I'm going to upgrade my mind because it uses weapons, because weapon skills use mind, or MP, or whatever you want to call it. I'm also going to kill this thing because he has a spirit summon that I want. I should also then go back and talk to the witch with the 4 hands and the 2 heads, because she will give me the ability to summon spirits. Okay, so if I do that, maybe 5 or 6 more times. Oh, good. I'm not going to wait. These things, I'll be able to summon 2 of them once I kill this thing. The problem with killing this thing is it's a boss and it's got a bunch of really swarmy, pokey enemies in front of it. And spears are very good weapons for dealing with single enemies. For dealing with large groups, like say these fuckers, once again, fuckers, obviously, you can see where the taboo inclination of that word came from. Anyway, these guys, these are a large swarm of enemies. And large swarms of enemies are slightly problematic for spears. Also, these guys respawn after you kill them unless you can land another hit on them. And while surrounded, landing a hit on something on the floor with a spear, which can only really attack in front of you, is pretty tricky. Doesn't exactly have a huge hitbox, spears. Makes up for it by dealing pierce damage, which is very, very effective. Not quite as effective as blunt force damage, but unfortunately you can't use... See, this is the thing. There you go, see, that one over there is about to respawn. There. Aha, I dodged that. Okay, the Tibia Marionette is dead. I got death root. Skeletal militiaman. And I will summon the skeletal militiaman very frequently during this playthrough because it seems like fun. Now I could also... Oh, there is a guy.
Ah, a tarnished, are you? With a prowess for weeding death root. I'm known as D. I hunt down those who live in death. How would you like to earn the strength of... If you're inclined to hunt more of those who live in death and weed them, then I'll introduce you to Garank. I have a matter of my own to attend. The beast himself wishes for someone to take my place. Very well. I've marked the location for you. It will lead you to Garank.
That's lovely and slightly foreboding, but I'm not really in the mood for a beast playthrough. That would be fun, obviously. Beasts have really cool weapon arts. But yeah, I'm not really into it this time. Going for the spear. Yep, this guy's spawning. Dickard, by the way, anyone who is watching this back, I don't think is watching anymore, actually. Yep, nope, 0 watches. Dickard has stopped watching. Dickard recently began playing Dark Souls 1 for the first time. He has been complaining about it quite a lot. What a village. Right, so I'm going to go back this way. There he is. I should level up a few times. Increase mind, increase vigor. Good. Actually, no, I'm going to keep going this way, because the jar is this way, and I need to kill the jar. He's a bit sucky, honestly. And the jar is a slight pain, because he's pretty cool, and he's useful in the Radahn boss fight. But, here's the thing, I'm not really playing the long term right now. Also, I mean, after a while, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to take Rakan on solo. Actually, I've never done that before. Actually, I don't think I've beaten Rakan very many times. But, you know, you take him on at a low level most of the time. He's more of a late game boss. But you've got so many summons, so you've got either, like, you've got basically the two ways you can go through it. You can either kill the guy with a whole bunch of summons, or you can take him on solo in the late game. Smouldering Church. How can a church be perpetually on fire? Oh, of course, this is Elden Ring. The fire is magic. Okay. This place seems familiar. Well, I suppose a lot of them do look very, very similar to each other. Why can't I summon my horse? Oh, that's why. Invaded by Anastasia Tarnished Eater. Oh dear God. Oh, you have a very, very big thing. That is a very big sword-like thing. Fortunately, you have to run head-on at me, and I have a spear. Running head-on at me is a truly terrible idea. Unless you do that. That was a very effective move, but not effective enough. There we go, you're dead. I really like this spear, not because it's particularly good, just because it's already +7 and I had to invest exactly nothing into it, which makes it a very, very good early game weapon. But the question though, I'm in the wrong... Oh god, no, I don't want to go to Round Table Hold yet. I'm doing things.
It seems torrent, whereas I merely pretend.
Yes. You're offering to take me to Round Table Hold, which is like the hub of the area. I can access the blacksmith there. I don't need the blacksmith. I have a +7 spear. I'm not going to get a different weapon until I get the pike. And I don't really need to do anything else at Round Table Hold. The only thing I could potentially do there is upgrade spirit summons, except for the fact I don't have the ability to summon spirits yet. Oh look, there's a troll. Of course. Where is the jar? I was sure that the jar was... Is the jar further down, or was he maybe more Oh, he's over here, isn't he? Oh, good. The chat's being weird again, and I'm getting all of Dickard's messages on the right-hand side of the screen for no obvious reason. And these are all messages I've seen before. Now, I'll be honest, I've never actually fought the jar, except once late game. And when I say late game, I mean I've basically already finished, and I have no idea what I was doing. I was like, what happened to the jar? And then I went online and found out, oh, there was a whole bunch of things I was meant to do, which basically boiled down to talking to the jar in various locations where he showed up, which is like all of Souls. Honestly, the quest lines in this, they're ridiculous. Quest lines in Souls games are the most obscure thing possible, because there's no real explanation as to why characters are doing a certain thing until much, much later. And you also don't get like any reference from them as to where they're going. I think maybe 2 or 3 of them tell you where they go. Hey. Hello, Jar. Hello, Alexander. I'm sorry, I'm going to kill you now. To assume that I'm doing damage, but I mean probably not.
I am pleased. My thanks, just give, and I'll pop. Don't dally. Give it your.
Okay, so this could go spectacularly wrong, but I mean, what choice do I have really? I want the he drops an item which increases.
Great. I see it
Oh.
now.
Oh shit, you don't have much HP.
Then there's nothing left to say, except I am.
a giant jar. Warrior jar. Oh, great. So he doesn't drop the weapon option. Okay, I'm going to quit the game and reload, and hopefully I won't have killed the jar. Yes, I know that's scathe scumming. I don't care. Because honestly, there's no point in killing the jar if I don't get the item for it anyway. Right, continue. Hopefully I haven't killed the jar yet. Ah, I have. Oh well. The jar is dead. Bummer. I'll never be able to get that item, and considering most of my damage in this playthrough was going to be based on Piercing Fang, it's kind of a minor problem, but, you know. Oh well. I'm not a perfectionist. I can take one or two setbacks, and frankly that one is completely my fault because I was a moron. Why didn't he drop the item though? It would have been much better if he dropped the item. Also, how exactly did that guy, like, reach the end game? He sucked. Like, he lost to me with a weak spear at a low level. He should have been killed like 20 times just journeying across off. Oh. Okay, what's this place? Oh, the Lands Between. Which is somehow like the dumbest name of a place in any of the Souls games? Or FromSoft games, I mean. Yharnam, Drang Lake, Lothric, Lordran, and the Lands Between. Between what, exactly? What are these lands between? There's a guy here who sells weapons. I could also kill him and get his armor, which would be fun. And it would go very well with my spear and what I plan to get later as a pike. And the pike does not begin with the item, with the ability I'm trying to get. And the pike is the best thing for it, so I'm going to buy the Imperial Thrust ability.
Well,
thank you for the ability. Now what? Now that that's over, I go back to the church because I believe there is a woman with 2 heads, 4 hands, and, yep, a weird hat.
May I have a word?
Well, it's more like 1.5 heads.
A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the Witch Renna. I'd heard
You are not the Witch Renna, you are the Witch Rani. Honestly, if you're going to pick a pseudonym, why on earth would you go for one so close to your actual name? Yes, I can call the spectral.
I wasn't sure I Torrents. 'Tis a bell of course. Summon them with the spirits. Now it is that.
Thank you very much.
Forgive.
Right. So, I should probably have leveled up there, but I don't think that. I'm going to the Murkwater Catacombs in the hopes of getting the items that I need to level up spirit summons. Although it's just occurred to me that before I've fought the first boss, I won't be able to fight the spirit summons to upgrade the spirit summons anyway. Also have to do a lot of talking. An unnecessary amount of talking. Which, well, a streamer complaining about talking is probably moronic, but oh well. Brave glove war, whatever. Long glove. Pull the lever. Run away. Run away from the glimpse. And this way. I don't remember exactly which enemy is down here. Is it one of the statues or is it the guy with the cloak? Ah, it's the guy with the cloak. Grave Warden Duelist. He's got 2 big hammers. on a chain. I really wish I could get that weapon because the moveset would be fun. Ridiculous. I shouldn't have backed off, but oh well. Oh, I could also summon the Banished Knight Evangel, which would give me a second person with sort of dashy spear build. Except for the fact that it probably costs more than I've currently got in terms of FP. How much FP does he require? I think it's 100. I've got 91 right now. I'm going to run right past you guys and hope to God I don't get killed. Run. Skip. There we go. There's some souls, runes. Is there anything worth grabbing here? No. Sometimes in these areas there's root resin, which you can make oils or whatever they're called, grease, elemental grease out of, which you rub on your weapon and it gives it affinity. Like this thing I've got, fire grease, or set my spear on fire for a bit. Right. I believe that's everything right now. I shall go and see if I can kill the first boss. Oh, wait, first I need to run away from these guys. Just enough, there we go. One. Oh, that's a lot of fighting. One's dead. I've got critical strike. Back off. And okay, thrust, there we go. The good thing about impaling thrust, I'm not sure if this is correct or if I'm just imagining it, but there's a certain distance. It's right out. Basically, if you're right outside an enemy's hitbox, I don't actually need to talk to them. You can technically talk to her and she'll like say some stuff and give you a useful spirit summon, but I don't actually care about it because, well, you forgive her. Even if I don't talk to her, she'll show up at round table hold after I'm done with this anyway. There are some enemies, I'm not going to bother fighting them. The fact that I can take down these knights with two very weak, with two light attacks is pretty good. Oh, dear God, that's a lot of them. Oh yeah, they've all been called over here, haven't they? Except for this one, who's standing behind the ballista, which he would have shot at me with if I tried to go up that way. Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of enemies summoning following me, so I'm going to summon these two. Come on, guys. This way. You. Let's see. Another one of you guys. Ah, you're the bastard who rang the horn. Oh, the whistleblower. Right, that's all of them. That's a lot of runes. Well, not a lot of runes, but a decent amount of runes. Seems to me going a tiny bit faster for a few steps. Now, could no, never mind. I rest at the site of Lost Grace. I level up. Oh, I can. I'm just going to check how much that one costs. Inventory, data, no. Yeah, inventory, that was it. Costs 100. Banished Knight Evengal. Engval. Engval. Weird name. Then again, most things in the Elden Ring universe have weird names, so never mind. So, if I lose with Engval, I cannot speak. If I lose with Engval, I'll go with the Militiaman next. I'm now going to have the super anime entrance of this guy.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
I am Groot. He's doing the superhero pose. Superhero pose. He's doing the superhero pose. Doing the Black Widow pose.
Let it be Margit the Fell.
Margit the Fell. Margit meets the Banished Knight. The Banished Knight does no damage with what looks to be one of his most powerful attacks. However, he does seem to have a lot of health. Or an adequate amount of health. Oh, good. Staggered again. I'm not sure how much help the knight is being, so I'm going to see if he can actually fight this guy on his own. I'm imagining that he can't. He's doing no damage at all. I do actually believe that the militiaman would be doing more damage here. Okay. Right. And that's how you beat Margit the Fell on your first turn. Summon something which is, completely useless in a fight except for standing in the way and getting hit a lot. Which is, useful, especially in the early game when most bosses hit like tanks, considering the amount of health the average player has. See, the problem with the spirit summons is that they were worked in... Oh, the warrior shard does. I did get it. Good. Raises the attack power of skills. That would have been very much more useful in that fight. I'm a moron. Okay, so after that shocking revelation, as I was saying, the problem with Elden Ring boss fights is that they are designed to be gank fights because the players are given the ability to summon freely a helper of their choice. Well, of whatever helpers they've acquired, but even so, it means that the bosses themselves have to have a lot more oomph behind them, which means that if you take them on your own, you have to be an insane masochist. unlike in like regular Dark Souls games, where you just have to be a regular masochist to take on a boss. So yeah, I don't actually know what I picked up when I ran through there. I wasn't paying attention. I was focused entirely on my rant. What did I pick up? Inventory. Oh, I think I picked up some more fire. Yeah, I picked up some more fire grease. I picked up. I don't know, something. Well, that's that then. Now, usually, what you want to do in this place, actually, what you want to do first, is level up. Level up my strength, team, so that I can begin using the pike as soon as I get it.
You there? Come on. Your tie would advise against it. Tightly guard. The guards, you'll breach the gap. Fair enough. Well, if you must go, but of course.
Yes, I know you advise against it, but unfortunately there's an item I need that way. Now, I am going to be bombarded with projectiles as I walk through here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Run. Dodge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dodge. Run. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was nice. Killed one of his own allies for me. How very thoughtful. There is a big dog with a sword, or lion, or something. But the only thing I need to know is that it can't get in here. Because some enemies can't go through doors. Which is, for once, a nice thing in a Souls game. These are rare. These are very rare occurrences, nice things in From Software games. Oh, hello. You're all coming towards me then. Right, well. Let's do this. 1. Where's the annoying cat? Oh, there's the annoying cat. Get here now. Oh, the annoying cat filter. A lot of things in this area seem to be able to damage each other, which is also nice. That thing, however, can damage me a lot. So I'm going to summon some things to try and hurt it. I'm going to let them take the rest of the damage. I'm going to turn on grease. Exhaust itself on these guys. The deal is that it moves out so much that once dead, they have plenty of time to respawn. See, like that one just did. And then let's get rid of that one. Ah, nope. That's dead. And staggered, wonderful. Well, I didn't get the critical attack off, because I was standing in the wrong place. But oh well. I won, and these two are still alive. Well done, guys. Good show, good show. The pike is nearby. When I say nearby, I don't really know exactly where it is, but I know the general area. There's also an area you can get to, an area you can get to around here with a key. Or, not really a key, it's a stone key. You stick it in an imp's head. An imp is in a statue, not the imps living statues, important distinction. You stick it in its head and it sort of opens the fog wall, and then you can get through it and get the black flame abilities. Well, a couple of black flame abilities, there's a few in this game. And they're useful because they deal % max health damage. And in a game where everything is designed to have a ridiculous amount of health, anything that does percent max health damage is useful. That's why bleed is so overpowered in this game. There's another ability which is really useful called Crimson Rot. Not ability, status effect. It's a status effect you can set up called Crimson Rot, and it's useful, except for one slight problem, which is that it's basically impossible to inflict on most of the major bosses. And, well, actually, no, it's not impossible to inflict on major bosses, but it's a very rare thing that anything can... Oh, god damn it! That was very lucky. And I'm alive. Standing here, he probably can't shoot. And yeah, we're around a big area of small enemies, and I'm dead. And the pike is on one of those corpses with shiny things sticking out of them. I'm not sure which it is, because a weapon and a leaf look exactly the same in this game when they're on the floor. They both look like glowing little balls. Because that makes a lot of sense. How long have I been playing? Nearly an hour. What time is it? 20 past 8. It's 20 past 8. I have work tomorrow. My work involves me getting on a boat and then not getting off it again for about, well, exactly a week. Which essentially sucks while you're on it, but is great when you're off it because you get a literal week on dry land doing sod all. The downside being, of course, that I work 2 weeks worth of work in those 7 days. And I'm going to point out 7 days I'm working the same amount most people do when they work 10 days. So I work more hours per day for 7 days, which is annoying, but it does mean I spend like half my time here at home, where I tell myself I'm going to be productive. Actually, I did have a rather productive week. I got a lot of writing done. When I say a lot of writing, I'm more of an outline at this point. Well, I've got some bits I need to string together, but anyway, the point is the writing has been good, but the editing has not. I did not get much editing done. But editing I do during my weeks on the boat as well, because during my free time I'm in my cabin and I don't have much to do, but I've got my laptop, I've got my editing program, I've got stuff, the animation, Arcane. I've got Arcane downloaded, I've got Blue Lock downloaded, I've got, what's the other thing I've got currently? Oh yeah, I've got Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen, which I still haven't actually made an AMV with. I must do that, except for one slight problem is that, well, I really like how... Oh, I had Nimona, but I lent the USB key with Nimona on it to a friend of mine at work. He then went on leave because he was having a mental break. That's unfair. That's hyperbole. He wasn't having a mental breakdown. He was under a lot of stress and was signed off work for a while, and was then reassigned to another boat closer to where he lives, which, to be fair, is very close to the other side of the country. I mean, I live in France, so it's not a huge country, but still, like, why couldn't they have just put him on the boat near to where he lives originally? There we go. So that's the pike equipped. I mean, obviously it's technically not the right time to use it. It's a very long spear. It attacks slightly slower than most. It's got a different heavy attack while two-handing it. While one-handing it, it's actually got a different heavy attack while one-handing it too. Which is, perfectly fine. Just sort of slaps them up. I'm not going to bother with that for now. What I'm going to get now is upgrade materials. I've got a few of them, but by the time I get this thing to level 7, well, basically I'll need to get through a decent portion of the game before I can get this thing to level 7. So for now I'm sticking with the regular spear. Thank you, Patches. Your sacrifice was not in vain. Neither was yours, apparently, Alexander the Jar. Because I have now got a +7 spear with powerful ability, Impairing Thrust, which is further increased in power by the fact that I got the Alexander's Shard, or whatever it's called. Jar Shard. Oh, look, a crab! I'm going to Impaling Thrust you. Oh, that was a lot of damage. And she's dead. Okay. Good talk. Oh, and I got crab eggs. I wonder what those are useful for. Let me see. Oh, it's nothing. I mean, I'm sure it's useful for something eventually, but nothing right now. I'm just going to jump down here. Jump. Now, obviously, the way most people play with a spear is they've got a shield in one hand and a spear in the other. I'm not doing it that way. Shut up. The way most people play with a spear is that they have a shield in one hand and a spear in the other. I'm not doing it that way. The things were in that cave. Oh, never mind, I only had 600, I can't be bothered. Touch Grace. I have to assume that the developing team, they must have known. I mean, Touch Grace? Really? Oh, good, that one dropped a smithing stone. Shiny scalpel. Tiny scalpel. Gonna slice them up. I mean, technically it's a spear, and it doesn't do slice damage. But it's roughly the size of a scalpel when compared to the majority of the enemies in the game, who are unnecessarily massive. Oh, good rats. Hello. One. Nope. Locked on. Unlocked on. Two. Going to run in a circle, jump, come down, and going to miss completely. Oh, I think that's the first time I've ever been confronted with rats in a Souls game and not been annoyingly shoved. Because that's all rats do, really, in these games. They don't really do much damage. What they do is shove you just enough to basically just not make you stumble about a bit. In large groups, they can be a colossal pain, especially if in those large groups they, you know, just sort of shove you a lot until you die. There's a whole boss in Dark Souls 2, which is you have to fight a whole room full of rats, and one of them is the boss, and that is the rat with the Mohican, which objectively should be cool. I mean, it's a rat with a Mohican, but it still kind of sucks. I may be talking out of a particular hole which is not attached to my face on this, but I believe that the distinction between Mohican and Mohawk is... there we are. Is that a Mohawk has to look like a sort of fin on the top of your head, whereas a Mohican is just the style of having it down your having the single strip down your head. I think that means that, like fingers and thumbs, all Mohawks are Mohicans, but not all Mohicans are Mohawks. I was facing the wrong way. And down. Whee! Spraying fire at me. Screw you, you stun-lucky douche. I was behind him. I keep being behind him. Why isn't it letting me attack? Right. Oh, for the love of God! One goddamn ability. Literally. There we go. One. There you go. You die. You take damage. And don't die because, well, I call BS, but whatever. More smithing stones, useful. I have no more health. I have a boss to fight, and I have no health. Oh joy. Fortunately, this is Elden Ring, and the team at FromSoft did a very clever thing where they realised that everyone absolutely hated the boss run back, so they put these lovely little... Oh, that came very, very close to killing me. That would have been such pain. But I'm alive. I mean, one hit from this boss, and I won't be anymore. But I am alive. I have... Oh, I should have at least... This is Stone Digger Troll. He's big, he's ugly, and he's going to squash me with that giant hammer of his. Yep, there we go. I thought that was a smaller AoE. Oh well, I'm dead. Oh my god, I didn't summon... Oh, I should have summoned... Oh, it wouldn't have mattered. Right, back to the stake of America. I tried to ring a specific branch of the French government today which deals with licenses, and I spent an extremely long time doing that whole please press 1 for this bullshit, please press 2 for this bullshit thing, and then when I finally got to the correct bullshit, I was informed that there were already too many people on the phones calling about this specific bullshit. So, could I please ring again another time? But I decided to go and kill myself instead. Oh dear God, what? The problem with impaling thrust builds, or anything which does a really large amount of damage to a really small area, is what if the boss, you can only target its legs? Problem with being only able to target a boss's legs is legs have a tendency to move about a lot. Die. Question is now, why am I bothering to fight this boss, considering it gives an underwhelming amount of runes, I'm just going to summon these guys because I might as well. And the bosses in the game are designed to be fought with summons. Here we go. This one is that it does huge amounts of AoE damage, which means that when these things die, they're dead. Which will definitely get them a second time. I just need to stagger this guy though. A couple of more hits on his legs. So he'll be on the floor and then oh, come on! How was I meant to dodge that? I was still on the floor. Oh, come on. This is an incredibly frustrating fight for the simple reason that it's the sort of thing which would be really, really easy with any other weapon. And yet is a huge pain because I don't have another weapon. Or do I? I fought it with this thing many a time. No! What the hell? I hit that ledge! And I lost all my gems. Well, not gems, runes. Lost all my runes. Well, as I was saying, I fought the boss with this sword before, a couple of times. It's gone well. So, you know, maybe this will work. Don't know why I bothered picking that up. It's reflex. Jump. Stone Digger Troll. Big enemy. Really, really easy. Unless, of course, you are terrible at dodging, which I am. See? I dodged that, and yet I didn't. That one I don't take responsibility for, that was just cheap. Good, we're doing this one then, are we? Okay, you know what? I'm switching back to the spear and to the damage. I think I've got a good trick. Come on, bait the attack, and... Oh, for the love of God, I dodged that! There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give me the go there. Give me the... There we go. There we go. That was unfortunate. And that's more unfortunate. I haven't helped. That was lucky. Yeah, so enemies with tiny hitboxes that move about a lot are a problem for spear-based builds. Now, this is a special thing I can go into and then fight a boss. This is one too. Don't really want any of the items I'll get from those bosses. I don't particularly need runes right now. There is a small dungeon up here, if I'm not mistaken, which I can get a decent weapon from, but not on this playthrough. Ah, I remember. There is an incantation, a faith-based incantation, which I may not be able to get. I may not be able to use immediately, but will be useful. Oh, I should probably go to Round Table Hold now.
Very well. Let my hand.
Yes. Oh, we're sitting still. We're still sitting still. Oh. Yes, hold the lady's hand and I'm instantly transported to the round table. I'm going to destroy its chairs. Okay, so, brief summary. This guy is a douche. Behind this are two fingers, which are douches, and someone who interprets it, who is either wrong or a douche. This guy is... he sells things. He sells faith-based spells. Faith is, as per usual, as per long-standing Dark Souls, Soulsborne, Bloodborne, Sekiro, anything from software, that's the words. Tradition, faith builds are useless most of the time. This guy, I met this guy before. He offered to make me a beast thingamajig. I don't really want that. This guy looks like Dracula, and I believe has a quest line attributed to him, but I don't care. If I jump down here, I'll be attacked by a ghost with a scythe, but I don't want to do that right now either. And Knockoff Andre is this way. Hello, Knockoff Andre.
You're a new face, no matter. Lay out your arms.
Smithmaster Hugh. See, I could get Smithing Stone 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade my pipe. Oh no, I don't have Smithing Stone 2 yet. Yeah, and now my pike has Impaling Thrust, which is useful for the simple fact that Impaling Thrust you close a lot of distance, but with the pike on your hand, you have even more distance on it, so you do more damage in the area. You do more damage, but still be slightly further away from the enemy. Of course, for a lot of enemies who are usually the size of a skyscraper, that is often useless. But on the rare occasion you're fighting something of even a vaguely reasonable size, the extra range can be nice. See, That's another thing. You're meant to like get the sense that this world is huge and oppressive and everything in it can kill you. But wouldn't a good way to do that be making these things your size and just giving them great, really cool weapons? Like, make a whole bunch of them with good weapons. That would be fun. What's not fun is making a whole bunch. Look, see, there's a shambling horde over here. I'm going to show it to you guys. I think there's a shambling horde over here. Yep, there's the shambling horde. See, this is a shambling horde. These are some of the only human-sized enemies in the game. And they are, to put it mildly, very, very dull. They also do that, which sucks. Point being, if there were enemies that size, with cool weaponry, like axes that they could throw at you, or those cool hammers on chains, or spears, and they could do an impaling thrust on you, make them like weaker versions, or, well, maybe not even weaker, give them levels. Give the enemies levels. Make it a cool system, where if an enemy kills you, it levels up, like a nemesis system in the other game. That would be fun. It levels up based on the amount of runes an enemy of your adequate level would give. What isn't fun is facing us off against 1,000 rather generic enemies with one or two tricks, and make every single boss, and the majority of just regular enemies, 8 million times your size. That isn't particularly clever enemy design, in my opinion. But let's be brutally honest about it. Designing fun fights isn't really FromSoft's biggest objective. They want to design hard fights, and making something unnecessarily huge is a tried and true method of just making something harder. Because if it's gigantic, it's harder to get out of the way of. And yes, I am fully aware that a lot of the hardest bosses in the Soulsborne series have been human-sized, or at least vaguely human-sized. Slave Knight Gale, for instance. I mean, you see that guy before. He's human, he's your sized, and yet for some reason when you fight him, he's 8 times bigger than you. And then there's the Nameless King, who is also unnecessarily bigger than you in his fight. There is the Abyss Watchers, one of my favourite boss fights of all time, because they're big. Well, not big, because they're not big, that's what I meant. Because they're fun. Because they're skilled. Not because they're huge. Other enemies who are actually decently fun, in my opinion, because they are an adequate size, are the Twin Dragon Riders boss fight from Dark Souls 2. The fight with Ornstein in Dark Souls 2. Who I also think was fun. I also think that was a fun fight. I don't really understand why everyone hates it so much. I mean, yeah, the guy was weaker than he was in Dark Souls 1. It may not have even actually been Ornstein, we don't know, but it was a dragon-slaying knight, or whatever, Dragon Slayer, that's it, old Dragon Slayer title. Ah! I nearly got yeeted off that cliff. I'm now being chased by a big dog with a Scrappy-Doo-sized head. Anyway. Yeah, I was going on about bosses which are fun because they are roughly a similar size to the player, and so it's really a contest of skill between two equals, not killing something gigantic. Killing something gigantic can be fun, but if it's just a regular enemy which is ridiculously huge and does really generic attacks, which are hard to dodge because you put them in a tiny room and make the boss's attacks take up 80% of the area, then it's not particularly fun. The more fun ones are like Margit. Margit there, that was a fun fight. Do you know why? Because, yeah, he's huge, but he's at least a vaguely logical size in comparison to you. That Duel Master I fought with the hammers, he was also quite fun. Because
Well,
he was a
please, I'm
regular-sized guy.
I've been
Who
hungry.
isn't a regular-sized guy. That troll. That troll was not
How
regular-sized,
about
he
these?
was huge. Huge enemies are less fun than regular-sized enemies. Fact. Oh. These butterflies were once the wings of the goddess of rot herself. That doesn't sound like it's foreshadowing anything at all. Anyway, I'm not going to buy anything from you, no offence. I just don't have any actual, health, not rooms right now. So I can't really buy much from you. Oh! I know this place. This is one of the best early game grinding spots in Elden Ring for a simple reason. I'm going to show you a very, very easy way to grind in this area. I'm going to equip my better to do it because there will be some tough enemies here. Oh, whoa, oh dear. Ah, yes, I remember now. I'm about to be invaded by something. Ah, yes, a Millicent. I'm now going to run back to dry land, because if I don't, I'll get infected with Scarlet Rot, which will lower my HP gradually within increments. Hello, Millicent. I'm going to equip Fire Boost for this. I think that's clever. Ah, she dodged. Didn't dodge that. Didn't dodge that either. She's trying to dodge. Nope. Nope. Denied. Good thing about having a gap. Whoa, that's a powerful ability. That felt very cool. I'm not gonna lie, that felt pretty cool. And I got a lot of rooms for it. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to show a decent early game grinding method. See, there is an enemy here. He will spawn. As you can see, you can deal a decent amount of damage to him, even with a pretty average early game weapon. Let's take him on. He does this now, and then you lead him into one of those geysers, and he blows himself up. And you get a not insubstantial amount of runes for it. I'll just show this to you again. There's another one over here. Even if he misses the initial explosion, if he walks through that cloud of mist, he'll also hurt himself. There we are. No. Stand there. Yes! There we go. Good boy. It's not an insane amount, but it's a couple of hundreds, like 600, and in the early game, for the first, 10, 15 levels, you can come here, you can bait them into doing that, and it's just really easy. Oh, this. I'm now playing a game of whack-a-mole. No, I'm not. I've lost the mole. Ah, that over there is an enemy. I'm going to bait it into blowing itself up. Hello. Hello, Knight of Rot, or whatever you guys are called. Ah. If I get hit by one of those, I'm dead. Oh, dear God. Oh, there's two of you. Oh, fun. I'm tag-teamed. Come on, guys. Over this way. This way is really fun. The ground explodes. The only slight problem with the grinding in the ground exploding area is everywhere in this small block is exactly the same, so it's often quite hard to find the exploding ground area. But I think I found it. I think it's over here. No, it isn't. Where is it? Ah! I have lost the area where the ground explodes. And now I'm being chased by a knight. I don't know where he's gone. I'm going to like turn the corner and I'm going to run into him, and that's going to be sad. Oh look, whack-a-mole has resumed. Oh, and another one of these guys. I now run away. Run away fast. Ah, here is the groundy explodey area. And that is an enemy throwing things at me. Ah, and that is one of the other enemies I found earlier. Come on, this way! Honestly, doing it for more than the first two is kind of less time efficient. But watching them blow themselves up can be funny. Come on. Walk through the poisonous gas for no obvious reason. There you go. See, you just have 63 points of damage. Why? Because you're an idiot. I know it's cheap. I know it's abusing a video game enemy's AI. I know it sucks. I know in the actual fight this guy would probably body me, but I mean, come on. It's just funny watching them kill themselves like that. They just walk into the ground as it goes kaboom. And honestly, I don't think these guys would bother me, even if I was fighting in the swamp. Really? Really? Another scythe? For those who don't understand my genuine astonishment, the Halo Scythe is a rare weapon. A useful weapon. A very rare weapon, a rare drop. And I just got it, for the first time ever, on a playthrough where I'm not going to be using it. Because I'm already doing this. Although, I haven't actually, I was going to spec into Faith anyway. The pike is fun, it's got impaling thrust, but Halo Scythe, also fun. Oh god, now I'm reconsidering. Do I want to go for the scythe build? Not to mention, with Makilla's Rings of Light, raises holy attack but lowers damage negation. Makilla's Rings of Light, and boosts the attack power of skills. I would basically be doing increased damage with those skills. And it has bleed. Bleed is useful. I'm going to see if I can apply any sort of... No, I can't apply grease on this. So it would be capped at... Yeah, it would be capped at 60. 55 bleed build-up, which isn't the best. But, on the other hand, I mean... Also, I think that if I hit something with this... Yeah. And slashing abilities are just generically better than piercing, not because piercing sucks by any stretch of the imagination, it doesn't. I mean, actually, these things are leveled up with a completely different stat, and I was already going to be leveling Faith. I need one more dex. So this will be my secondary weapon. I'll have two, and I'll swap between them depending on which boss I'm fighting. Which enemies I'm fighting. And with this, I'll be able to do more holy damage. With this, I'll just be able to do a lot of pierce damage and stance damage. And, oh, by the way, for anyone who's watching and doesn't know, by which I mean my brother and sister, when they eventually watch this back and think, what the fuck are they talking about? Well, actually, they'll be thinking, what the fuck are they talking about anyway? They won't understand the word of this. But basically, the Rings of Light are like those projectiles that the Klingrot Knights were slinging at me with their scythes. And so that's a ranged ability. And ranged abilities are very good in a game where things are huge for no obvious reason, as I may have gone on a slight rant about earlier. Question is now, do I end the stream here, or do I go and try to do something else? I've got what I need. Yes. Yes, this is why I came to this area in the first place. I just ended up in the lake by accident. But happy accident. I'm not going to stop fight here. Why am I in Caelid? I know why I'm in Caelid. I'm going there, to the fort. Not to try and get anything from it, because, let's be honest, if I try, I'll be killed a lot of times. But I'm going to sneak in there. Well, actually, I'm not going to sneak. I'm going to run very, very fast and hope I don't get shot by anything. The point is, I'm going to get in there, I'm going to get a spell, and I'm going to run away. I think. I think the spell I need is in that fort. Not spell, incantation. It's a cool incantation, it's called like, oh dear, these guys are here now. Oh dear, that's not good. Oh, they have projectiles, wonderful, have fun. And I can't climb up there. I can climb up here though. Oh, what's on the smithing stone 4? Oh, good, 4. 4 is often a hard one to get. I don't know why, it just is. I often find... Oh no, that's regular smithing stones. Because I don't know where the regular smithing stone 4 actually drops from. I know where 5 drops from, I know where 3 drops from, I know where 2 drops from, and 1, I've already been there. But 4, I don't know where the regular smithing stone 4 is. Ah, I'm getting kaboons again. Don't get lucky hits off, please. I don't want to get lucky hit by things. I'm not going in there, because going in there is basically suicide. Being in this area at all, basically. What the hell? There we are. Flame grant me strength. This is a very, very niche, not niche, very, very overused ability in Elden Ring, and everybody uses it, and it increases your attack damage by 10% for a small amount of time. It also increases fire damage dealt, and if, like me, you like having that fire thing, fire grease equipped on your spears, it's useful. So the problem is I don't know how to make fire grease, and I don't remember who sells or where to find the specific cookbook which has the fire grease recipe in it. Actually, I do remember. I do. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. It's here. Ah. Good thing about having no viewers is I can say whatever I want right now and nobody will care, because no one's ever going to really watch this, not even my siblings. They're just going to like watch 5 seconds of it and say they've watched it. But I could say whatever I want. I could say feces, and I could make that a song. Feces, 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 feces. There is actually a song about feces in a video game. I'm the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. Which is from a game about a squirrel. I don't know anything else, I just have seen the tiny clip of the great singing Pooh. I believe you kill him by throwing toilet roll at him, which objectively makes no sense, but it's a cartoon video game. It's a cartoon video game, so why would it bother making sense? The only games which make sense are games like this one, where you can like kill a troll by stabbing it in the ankle a few times, even though the troll's skin is basically made of stone. So I think I may have been wrong about this area. Oh no, it's not this area, is it? It's the other area with the fire people in it. That's the one where you can get the cookbook with the fire grease, I think. I certainly can't get it here. Unless I'm wrong, yeah. I could be wrong again. Me being wrong again is likely, because I'm wrong a lot. However, right now it doesn't particularly matter what I'm doing. Oh, indeed, well, there's a dog, because I'm just going to go here. I think there's a dungeon to my left, which will have an enemy in it, which I want to kill. Yes, hello. Big doors. There's looting there. There is also a dog behind me. It's going to lunge at me. It's going to stab it. The enemy has been stabbed. My chair still makes an ungodly amount of noise. Listen. I'm going to kill these skeletons. Another one. Skeletons, by the way, as you may have guessed, are not particularly vulnerable to stabbings. Other things skeletons aren't particularly vulnerable to are bleed and slashes. Well, slashes are actually decent. I don't really know how it works in this game, because you see there's... In most games you got standard cutting or hacking damage, which is just called standard damage, which is done by regular swords. Then there's crushing damage, which is done by heavy thumping things. Piercing damage, which is done by things like spears. And the last one is usually slashing damage, which is done by anything curved, like a katana or a scimitar. In this game, though, it's just slashing, stabbing, or crushing. I don't really know how that works. I mean, swords do slashing damage, but straight swords and curved swords do the same type of damage, which I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. 'Cause one chops, the other slashes. I mean, I don't know, both technically slash, but it's different, you know? Oh god, it's the Black Knife Assassin. Hey. Okay, so the funny thing about this guy is he's an assassin, and that means he's going to try to backstab me. So I'm going to stand here and summon two enemies to run at him instead of me. Two enemies who he will have a bugger of a time dealing with. And every time he tries to deal with the assassin, he just moves about a lot. I don't like these guys. There's like 10 of them in the game. Like 4 of them are bosses, and they're always a pain. Now, this is useful though. Critical hits restore HP. It's not the most useful, but they restore a decent amount of HP, and against certain bosses, especially in the early game where you don't have a huge amount of healing and you take ridiculous amounts of damage from most bosses' attacks, it's useful, especially if, like me, you suck at dodging. See, my first playthrough, I didn't really think about dodging too much. I had a really big weapon, and it had bleed, and I put frostbite grease on it, and I have wild swing, wild strikes, which I'm not really sure how to explain to people who haven't played Elden Ring what it does. Basically, hold the weapon above your head and swing it around like a lunatic. That's how I played my entire first playthrough of Elden Ring. I had a big stick with spikes in it, and I swung it about, and it did a lot of damage. And the good thing about that was, I didn't really need to think very much while I was playing. I could stand in front of something and bash it repeatedly. And if the thing killed me, I would come back afterwards and try again until it died. I used wild strikes a lot in my first playthrough. I started off with a small mace which I equipped with wild strikes. I used blood priest a lot until I got not mace, morning star, because morning stars have inherent ability, not ability, bleed. So I had that to start with, and I had lots of. I hate these birds. Oh yes. Well, that was fun. Anyway, yeah, the first playthrough I had was I started with a morning star, which I swung about above my head in front of enemies and did lots of damage to them. I rubbed grease on it to make it bleed people even more. And that was how I played the entirety of my first playthrough until I got the giant morning star, which is called 3 stars, which is a big stick with a spiky metal ball on the top of it. Another spiky metal ball on top of that, and then an even bigger spiky metal ball on top of that one. That was how I played. That was what I played with the rest of my first playthrough. And I'm dead again. These birds suck. They suck a lot. They are one of the most annoying enemies in the game. I mean, not if you're a magic user, or a faith user, or you have a shield. Actually, I should probably equip a shield. Oh. Even with the shield, these guys are fine. You get behind you when you put the shield. They can fly about just like nobody's friggin' business. They objectively suck. They are some of the most annoying enemies in the game if you've got a spear. Because spears, yeah, that's the hard thing about heavily mobile enemies or enemies with tiny hitboxes that move about a lot like legs. Is that if something moves about a lot, hitting it with a spear is hard. The advantage is positioning. You position yourself close to a wall, for instance, you basically halve the amount of you. Half of a lot is still a lot, but even so, it's less than it was. Or you can just wait for it to get itself stuck somewhere and then run away like, oh no, it's coming back. There we go. Very nice. Now there's just one more. Is there any way to sneak up on this one? Nope. Oh, that was lucky. Oh, that was unlucky. And you're dead. Good. Well done. Good bird.
Be proud.
Now that that's sorted.
You were a fine warrior. Your only mistake was you... Well, who do we have? Tarnished, are you? I am Nefeli Lu. Tarnished and warrior, like you. I'm here by decree of my father. How utterly repellent this is. This grafting of Godric's ill befits a lord. He's tainted the very winds. If you intend to challenge, I ask you call upon me. The winds run foul with his deed. I'm certain Father would permit me aid the fight. Apologies. As fellow Tarnished, we must each follow our own down whatever road takes us to the throne of El.
This guy. One of the two knights dubbed the Wings of the Storm. Despite his banishment, he rejected the invitation of grace-given Lord, instead keeping watch over the Masterless Castle for many years, gaining renown as a hero of the Fringes. The Masterless Castle. Don't know what that means. Where do I find this one again? Oh yeah, on the catacomb. By fighting an enemy. What enemy did I fight to get this? The duelist, wasn't it? So I guess that duelist tracked this guy down and killed him. I wonder if this was the other knight. It said there were two knights, right? I wonder if this guy was the second one. Oh good, another troll. I'm going to do the clever thing and run past him like a coward. Running very fast. Actually not running very fast at all because nothing in this game runs fast. Apart from that. That's a big thing, it runs fast. Small thing, I don't. Anyway. I think I'm just gonna... Let's see, I've been playing this nearly 2 hours. I've got stuff to do, so I'm going to summon her and summon my spirit. I'm going to summon the other guy as I go in here, because he's a tank, he'll take a lot of damage, and because Godric does a lot of AoE damage, so... Let's go for yet another super anime moment.
Mighty dragon, thou'rt a true-born heir. Lend me thy strength, O kindred.
He has a lot of
Deliver
fingers.
me unto greater heights. Well,
And a lot of hands. Jared Hopsworth.
claim as a lord.
That's a cool podcast out there. This is a guy who does
I
this sort of thing.
command thee.
I'm not
I
gonna-
am the lord of all that is golden.
You're a Lovecraftian nightmare, dude. I'm not knowing before you. Anyway, I've got something with a lot of axes. I've got here. Axes. Basically, he chops off the dragon's head and sticks it on his hand. Again, aggro back onto the others. Yeah, good. Good. use this as much to use as I can. I have a bow. I have a bow. Don't equip the bow. Different purpose works. Oh, that went well.
We'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
I'm very pleased that I killed him. He seemed like a real douche. Godric, as far as I can tell, is basically just the sort of embarrassing, privileged littlest child of the whatever pantheon of douchebags that run this world before the Elden Ring broke.
Craven to the bone.
Ah, good, the
Pushing me
servant's
about
stepping on
like
him.
that. And after all that grafting, where did that get you? Oh, this weasel was... Godric was always looking down on me. He got what he bloody deserved. I tell you though, what goes around... He had an ugly heart, an uglier countenance, and met the...
Oh, this guy sells me things. Nothing I particularly need, but very nice of him. Doesn't have a dialogue option, so I'm just going. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Right, that was the first step. Actually, I'll level up a bit first. My eventual build will look something more like this. I'll have spear, I'll have this scythe, I'll be power swapping between the two of them. In my left hand I'll have a talisman with the flame grant me strength to increase my damage. I'll have this ability. This weapon uses somber smithing stones. Pike, of course, uses regular smithing stones. So there'll be no real crossover. They'll be a bit more expensive to upgrade them, but I mean, it's Elden Ring. They'll use runes for something. Pike will be really, really useful for taking on bosses like that troll. I can just stand behind him, lock onto his stomach, and then stab him up like this. That's going to be fun. Other ways I could do is I could back off with them, let my spirit summons do things, and bombard them with these rays of light, rings of light, or whatever you call them, and obviously be able to inflict bleed. I've got 2 useful summons who also upgrade with different things: the Banished Knights and the Skeletal Militia. I'll be able to increase their damage eventually by getting some faith spells which heal nearby allies, and by leveling up their spirit summons. So yeah, that's what the final build is going to look something like. I might change it up. I don't know what kind of armor I'm going to get, but I like this scythe. I like its weapon art. I like spirit summons. I find them a very, very useful tool in boss fights. Also, like, some of them can be completely useless. If I summon these skeletal militiamen that I've got that fight, I mean, he does huge area of effect damage, so they would have been completely useless. But summoning the big guy with the armor, tanky one, that's useful in a fight like this because he takes less damage, and well, he does less damage, but he can take a lot more of it. He's got armor, he's got a health. He's a big guy, he takes less damage, and that's good. So yeah, I got a nice set of weapons now. Well, I got 2 katanas. Come on. Dual wield katanas. Ah. I am very, very close to being Rowan or Zora right now. So yeah, that's what I've got. I've killed Patches, I've killed Alexander. That's just a thing that happened. Luckily, a lot of my damage is going to be based on what's the word I'm looking for? Spirit. Ashes of War. That's it. Weapon skills in Dark Souls 3 they were called. I'm doing Ashes of War, doing a lot of damage with those. So with this thing, be able to do a good amount of damage. And with this one too. So Alexander died for a good cause. And I also got a really nice spear, which is going to carry me through this early part of the game until I can level up. I'm going to have to upgrade my faith. I'm going to have to upgrade my strength a little, but not a huge amount, my dexterity a tiny bit too. I'm going to sunk the rest into mind, vigor and endurance so that I can actually take a few hits, carry enough weapons to be effective, because I also want a shield. I want a great shield. I want this side. I also want a bow. Not this particular great shield, obviously. I don't want this one. Right now I'm fat rolling. That's never fun. So yeah, that's how I've started. I've started off. This is going to be my next. This is my first ever live streamed playthrough of Elden Ring. After a 2-hour stream, I had one viewer for maybe 5 minutes. That was fun. Have a nice day, afternoon, evening. Oh dear God, someone's watching? Really? Dickard, is that you? Are you watching that? Just give him a moment to check. No, and now it says there's no one. No one is watching. Okay, well that's done then. I had another viewer for maybe 5 seconds. That's very lovely. Oh well, this has been fun. I'm stopping the broadcast now. Have a nice afternoon, evening, morning, wherever it is where you are. And I say that in the full knowledge that nobody fucking watches this, so who cares? Bye!